Back to my channel, YouTube. We start with chapstick as usual. Today is October 31st. I'm telling you the date because this will be another one of those videos where there will be multiple looks, and I will keep this one, I think, to just Natasha Denona, her 5-pan palette. 2 I purchased from BoxyCharm, 1 came in BoxyCharm. This one is the Ayana palette. I did just prime my lids. Of course, you can see I have on 0 face paint. You see all my under eye discoloration, redness, maskne, and all of that. This one, I decided to get rid of my Camel palette, and this does say it expires actually last month, September 2022. And I find with her cream to powder formulas, they do turn. And the reason I'm okay with letting go the Camel palette is because this will double for that. This palette, mostly I go into this one when I need something to blend out something else, which is what this shade will serve for, and this one, even though this palette is a lot more cool toned than this one. And this was a good shade for deepening outer corner, and this was also a there not there shade. This does have hard pan, but I was still able to use the palette, but I am going to let it go. So if I move it this way, you see how this shade on the end in Ayana, which is the top one, can double for the middle shade in the Camel palette. So I am okay with letting this go. I did prime my lids. We're going to do 4 looks, and that's why I didn't do face paint, because even with using my micellar water and the makeup remover wipes to remove my makeup, because of how my skin is set up to be all sensitive and whatnot, I still have to wash it off with soap and water. So I didn't want to do full face and then just have to wash everything off and start over. And I have tried it before. Yes, I have. And my eyelids were like, no troll, wash this off. We're going to go in right now with this shade, and I will put, this is creamy, the name over here, because I'm not sure how it's set up on the back and I want to just get in and keep moving. So this is going to go here. This is a smooth shade. This is not a shade, but you know what? It's one of those there, not there. Any day, any time of day, night looks for those of you who don't want really bold pops of color. And actually, we're just going to turn the brush over and we're going to go into the shade next to it. I kind of wish they would have had this one next to this and these 2 over in the corner instead of having this here, which is how I think most people would use it. Anyway, I didn't design a palette. So we're taking that shade, this one, and we are just tapping it over into our outer corner. This would be a nice transition shade for me, just to pick up to deepen a different look, as I was saying with the Camel palette. And I would really just grab it and just use that one shade if I needed to deepen something up. We're going to blend in between, and it seems like it doesn't want to. Troll issues. And it's not looking patchy at all. And this is looking kind of shimmery. I'm going to take a completely different hourglass brush, because I did buy the 2 more, which you'll see in one of my haul videos. And I'm just going to pat that on, because I'm wondering if I switched sides of the brush by mistake. Because this is not a shimmer shade. This is a matte. Well, it may have happened when I did this right here. Maybe that's what happened. And if it did, it's going to happen again. I'm going to flip the brush over, still in that same shade, and we're going to just pat right here. I think that looks really gray based. And here it doesn't, but showing up on me, that is really gray based. Wow. I don't like it. I know some of you do. It's about preferences. And maybe it's my undertone that's making it look gray. I don't know. But that does not look gray to me in the pan. Does that look gray to y'all? Like what? Well, we're going to keep it moving. It's a nice look. Not my preference at all. But it is pretty. We're going to go into this shade here. And that's going to go on the inner portion of our other lid. Wow. I'm surprised at how gray based this looks. Like seriously, like why? We're gonna flip this over and go into this shade. So let's see how this one is going to look. And this one looks like it's gray base, but it is showing up like a dark brown. This is weird, man. This is kind of weird. Making sure I'm using the right side of the brush. This is strange. And we're going to sweep back and forth to blend these shades together. Oh my. That almost looks green. Sometimes I do say I have issues with color perception. Whether I really do or not, I don't know. But to me, a color will look one way and then it'll look a different way. And it may just be my complexion or my undertone. But sometimes I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I really don't understand. This looks brown on my lid. This brown looks gray. What is happening with this palette? I do like both of them though, but I'm just kind of thrown off. I was gonna say a little bit, but a lot bit, because And actually, I'm gonna take 2 of the Scott Barnes blending brushes so we don't mix up the blacks with the browns. Even though we're going to use this same shade, putting this here, I don't want to get brown on the brush and then take it over here and mix it with whatever these colors are. So we're going to take this one and we are coating all edges, not all edges, but we're coating the entire brush. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to press and just let the shadow come off the sides of the brush. So if you want to just do the line, use the tip of the brush, and if you want to blow it out, then you know, flex the brush and let it do that. It did blend really, really well. So we're going to put that one down. We're going to take the clean one. We're going to go into the same shade and we're turning as we go. So you see the shadow all over the brush and on the tip of the brush. And we're going to tap it off, and we're going to do the tip first. I'm wondering if this is even going to show up over here on this side. This is a great blending color for me. And now we're letting the brush flex, putting a little bit more pressure versus just the tip here. As you see, now it's pressing out, and we're going to turn it. And you saw all the shadow that was on the brush, and now it's mostly not, because we're letting the brush do the work for us to blend. And I don't recommend this for all transition shades, even though this is above, excuse me, my transition area. But because it's such a light shade and it is just a blending shade, it doesn't matter where it goes. That blended really well. This look between this shimmer and this one is like, where's the color? And then you just got this gray on the corner. That is weird to me. I'm going to take the tip of the brush and I'm going to just feather in between these two, just to get somewhat of a blend, because I see a little bit of shimmer and then just a gray. So we're just putting the tip in and just feathering in between, just so there's not a distinct line between those two shades. So that's another tip too. If you have a shadow that's your skin tone basically, or it's not showing up, you can use that to blend out. So I think that does look better. And actually, I kind of want to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm not. What I think I want to do, I think I kind of want to take the gray, but because that looks gray to me and this looks green, this is throwing me off, because this even looks like a green shift, like this shade here. I mean, I don't know what's going on. So this is the one we use for this side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to lightly just feather it right in the middle, and I'm holding the tip of the brush because that ensures I'm putting less pressure on the brush as far as blending. I do think that looks better. We're going to do it again, just a little tiny bit. Sorry to poke you in the eye. And we're just going to blend in between, well, on the line where those two colors meet. This is really something. And so even with the lower lash line, like, is it going to look like anything? We're going to take this shade. We've used every shade in here, which is not difficult because it's only 5 shades. And y'all know I be packing sometimes 3 shades on my lid, sometimes 4. We're taking the clean one and we're going to go into this one. This just shows up all sorts of ways that I didn't think that it would. The colors look so different than they appear in the pan, to me anyway. Let me know what you think. And I'm not going to do 2 more looks with this palette, because I don't even know. I like how that looks. I do like this eye. I do like how it shows up, but I'm just really thrown off. To me, this looks silver, but up here, to me, it looks green. And this looks like a deep brown to me, but up here, it looks almost like a greenish based shade. And this one here, okay, that looks like that. More sheer though, but yeah, so that's, these 2 are probably satins. But this one here, that looks gray to me up here. And again, it might be my undertone, but I'm just like, what is this? This looks green. I don't know. So that'll be the 2 looks with this palette. And I'm just really thrown off here. So this is one look. And this is the other look. I'm really like beside myself. Do you see me sitting here? I'm like, what? All right, I'm going to do a short real quick, and we're going to come back and do the other palettes another day. Which means I could have did face paint. I'm going to do that. I'm going to slap on some powder foundation, and I'm going to edit this out. And I might as well do liner and mascara too then, right? Yeah. All right, I'm going to edit all of that out. This is the finished look. I did not use mascara. We used the NC42 matte powder foundation and also the NC43 for upper lash line on one side. We did In Big Truffle, the other side, because I'm black. And the Fenty Fly Liners, that is that. And for blush, we used Natasha Denona palette number 6, Sheer Nude Plum. This we put on our cheeks, and this we used just around the edges. And so that's this situation. Figured we used her. Since we used her eyeshadow for lips, we just put the Fenty Gloss Bomb and Hot Chocolate over the chapstick. That is everything on my face. These are the looks. So again, here's this one. And here's this one. This looks green to me still. I am so thrown off. That's this shade. And this still looks brown to me, and up here it looks gray. I am so thrown off. But I do like both the looks. My preference, no. This one, maybe, yeah. This one, definitely no. But for a nice, quick, easy look, yes, I would do this again. Thank you for being here. You'll see me in a couple seconds. Okay. So I know I said I wasn't going to do another look with this palette, but I'm curious. So what we're going to do, put that there so I don't forget that's the other clean one. We're going to take more of this shade and just bring it more into the center of the lid, because this is the only other look I can really think to do that the colors would show up. I am not tapping off, so we are just placing that right here. And I know I have brown liner on over here, and if that gets disturbed, we may just cover it up with a black. So we're just leaving that shimmer just on the inner portion of our lid. So this is there. These shades are so smooth. And so we're going into this shade, and even though this is creamy too, it's still some kick up, which doesn't bother me. And we're going to put this here on the outer portion of the lid, and we're going to lightly blend in between. And it is covering up that brown, but that's not a problem. I may just take it again and just put more of the brown instead of covering it with a black. So this would be an easy, mostly matte look, because you have the shimmer here, a matte, and then a matte, and even layering the mattes over the shimmer is still shining through, because those are definitely matte shades. These two and this one are matte. The only two shimmers, or probably satins you would call them, is this one and this one. And so I'm going into this again. I'm not tapping off, and it is creating fallout on my face because I'm not tapping off. And we're going to blend in between. And this is going to be this look. So this is just another option if you want to just deepen that outer corner. And actually, I like it. This is the brush I use. And I'm not going to use that one because I use it for powder foundation. And I used it for blush. And so that's why I didn't want to use it to sweep fallout on it, because it has the blush shade on it. So this is the clean brush. And this is a Scott Barnes Travel powder brush. And so we're just wiping away that fallout there. And I don't think that really worked. So we're going to take the NC43. I'm going to use that same brush. And we're just going to tap it. Is this the 42? This is the 43. That's looking really yellow. And since that's looking so yellow, you know what? I think it looks yellow because we have the, this blush right here. Because I put this on earlier, like it didn't look like that. Wow. Yeah, that's looking. the brush we use for blush. So we're just going to go around the edge over here. That is looking really. It's making my under eye discoloration look funky too. And sometimes stuff does that. And I still have that fallout right here too. That's not going away. But anyway, so this is what it is. I'm going to take some more in Big Truffle. Actually, I'm not, because I can still, yeah, I am. I'm just going to put just a little bit more right here on the outside. And a little bit more here where it was, and right there where it was. And that'll be it. I can't even see if that's straight or even. And so that is that look. So, you know, 3 looks, just switched up one. And I actually do like this better, having the outer corner just a little bit deeper. And so, yeah, you'll really see me again in another couple seconds. Oh, wait a minute. Now you'll see me in another couple seconds. I'm tripping. I did have Mountain Dew today and a small bag of Sour Patch Kids. Chapstick, as usual. I'm going to try and make these quick. So I'm not going to talk a lot and I'm going to edit a lot. My eyes are primed. I did my brows with the L'Oreal brow pencil. As you can see, in all of my glorious trollness, 0 face paint. And it's okay. We're using the Natasha Denona Cupid palette that came in BoxyCharm. 1 look on each eye, and then we're going to come back and do another look on each eye because I do feel like I'll get more variety out of this one than the previous palette. I will list the shades below. This is this shade. This is a Fenty 230 brush. And we're going to put this here. This is very smooth. I do like her formula. This is going to look like something else I did, and maybe because I tend to put shimmer halfway over and then the matte on the outer corner. So even with different shades, it's a similar vibe look. And we're going to flip this over and go into this shade. And we're going to put that over here. We're going back and forth to blend that top edge. And we're going to blend in between. Actually, we're going to pull this over because when I was trying to sweep, it wasn't sweeping. So we're just going to press and pull over. And that's how we're going to get the blend for that. And we're going to do the same here. We're going to take a clean one and go into this shade. That is what that looks like. And we're not tapping off because we have one a tacky primer. I'm wondering if we should just transform these looks versus doing 2 completely different looks, which would help me not have to wash my entire face. Because even removing eyeshadow, I was about to tap back in, but I didn't. Even when I remove eyeshadow, I still need to wash with the facial cleanser afterwards. And I know some people do just wipe off and it's fine, but the way my skin is set up, that doesn't work well for me. So we're going to go into this shade. We flip the brush over. So that is this shade. We're not tapping off. We want to put that here. I am liking her 5-pan palettes. I don't like her minis, the $25 ones. To me, they have a different formula than the $45 palettes. And to me, the $45 palettes has the same formula as the $129 palettes, whereas the minis seem to have more of the same formula as her, midi size. And I don't care for the midi size because of the formula. I'm going to go back into this and tap right here. And we're sweeping in between to blend. I think we're going to just try and transform these shades. that really blended in. We're going in again because I want to bring this over more towards the center. I'm going to go back to that first brush because I want to bring this red over further now because I'm really liking how I brought that darker shade more so in the center. And we are tapping this over the shimmer, so it may not really be darker. And we're sweeping lightly in between. These are nice. And now we're going to take, this is a Fenty 210, and we're going into this shade, and we're tapping straight in. We're going to tap off. This is a nice blend out shade for my complexion. I'm going to take a clean one and go into that same shade, and we are going to do the same thing on the other side. We are going to take, we're just going to use shadows as liner. Today is a Fenty day. These are Fenty, both of these are 220, and we're, what do I want to take? We'll just take this one under this eye. I do not have any primer or eyeliner under here. We're going to take a clean one and go into this shade. And we did coat both sides of the brush. And we're going to use the tip of the brush first to place it close to the lash line. And then we're going to lay it sideways to blend it down. We're going to use the Fenty Fly Liner in Big Truffle. It's the brown one. These are the two looks that we have. I think I need to put on concealer. I'm going to do that. We used the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer in 4W. So that's what this is under here. And we put some here. And you can still see some redness here. Not as red. And I'm liking it because it does look natural. It is more brightening than the 4N, as you can tell. But I'm okay with this. My eyes are irritated. And I was concerned with this palette because some of her deeper reddish tones have carmine in them, and it irritates my eyes. And so when I saw these shades, I was concerned, and both of my eyes are really itchy, and yes, they're looking very glassy. So we're just going to transform both of these shades really quick, and then we'll be done with this palette. Yeah, my eyes are not feeling good. So we're going to take this shade, Hourglass number 3, and we're going to put that on. So we're going to switch up. I'm not wiping off. I thought I forgot to tell you something. I did, but I didn't. I did use the Fenty Fly Liner in Big Truffle. So we're going to, that looks nice together. We're going to go back to the brush that had this red on it, not adding any more shadow on it. And we're just going to sweep it over just to blend. I should have did one of these numbers so you can see it before I switched it. And I didn't think to do that because my eyes are irritated already. So I was just like, let me just hurry up and get done. So I do apologize for that. And we're going to take this shade and we're going to put that on this eye. And we're not tapping off. So if you have a palette like this, you can just layer, and that can be, you know, your new look, so to speak. Does it look like how it looked before? The brush that we use for this outer corner shade, outer lid shade, I mean, and we are just pulling it and blending it. 2 easy ways to transform 2 different looks. And this is what we have. We're not doing a lip. I really need to go wash my face. But this is the transformed look for this eye. And this is the transformed look for that eye. And so thank you for being here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go wash this off. Thank you. And you'll see me soon for another Natasha Denona 5-pan palette. We're going to do 2 looks today, 1 on each eye with the Natasha Denona Jubilee Palette. This is a frost called Mint Frost. This is a cream to powder. This is Enigma from the Metropolis palette. This is Limoncello. It's a DC. I'm not sure what that's code for. These two are creamy mattes, and this one is intense. This one is vintage taupe. So we're going to be real simple today. My eyes are already primed. This look is a base face I did for the Keep It Real Fun collab. I lined my lips, filled them in, and put a gloss on top, and the gloss is bleeding. So if you happen to see stuff like traveling down here, I know that it's there. I did put on a black liner. I covered it up with primer, but that's what you see up there, and brows are done. So we're going to take this shade here with an Hourglass number 3. And we're going to keep it simple like we've been doing. First half of the lid, second half of the lid, except I think I'm going to take this. That's pretty. Is DC dual chrome? Because tilting it, it didn't change colors. But on my lid, it's looking kind of greenish. So we're just doing this to blend up top. We're going to take a clean one and take this one. This one is messy because it traveled over in here. I don't know if you can see the specks in this shade right here. But we're going in this one. Ooh. This one says it's a frost. So it may be a topper. It doesn't look that different from this one. I mean, it is a tonal change. It is different. But it looks like if you did first half of the lid, second half of the lid, I think that would be a nice gradient. So maybe we'll do that, I don't know, but I'm thinking I do want to try topping both of these over either a black or a brown base. Maybe that'll be a look. Maybe we will recreate this look, putting this over base and this one, the same thing, one on each eye. Maybe we'll do that next, just so you can see. And if you have this palette, they give you some options, because when you look at this, it's like, do these colors go together? Like, yeah, these two go, these two are matched, they go. But this one, why is that here? And what do these two have to do with these two? So I can see where it would look disjointed, but these two looking the way they do, they can both go on one eye. So we're going to take the tip of the brush and sweep this here. Yeah, I think we'll do that next. Use them over a base. So we're going to take, this is old as hell. This is probably like 15 years. It's a Sephora number 25. Is that what it says? Yeah, number 25 cream eyeshadow brush. If you guys remember these silver handle Sephora brushes, let me know. And so since this is a cream to powder, and look how dark it is, but look at that. But when you apply it, this is me excited about an eyeshadow. Look at that. A lot of people don't like the cream to powder. I like it because you pack it and then you just go back and blend it and feather it. But if you just straightway just blend all of this, it'll appear. That looks beautiful next to that. It blends out nicely, but if you keep blending it, I'm gonna feather this further over. It will look like you're blending it away, and that's why some people don't like it. They're like, oh, it just blends away into nothing. But when it blends away, just pack it where you want it, and that blend is still there. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I like it, because you can blend it out, and then just place more where you want it, and not worry about it not blending. Ooh, this is a creamy matte. I mean, cream to powder, which is a matte shadow. But look how it picks up that shimmer. When you layer it over that shimmer, that is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Y'all know I want to put this all over the lid and then put a black in the outer corner. Or put this in the center and put a deep brown and then a black on the inner and outer corners for halo eye. This is beautiful over that. Oh my gosh. Oh. Told myself I wasn't going to talk a lot, during this video, because we have a few more looks to do. And I already said we'll just do these same ones over black base, but the way, look at this. This is a matte. Over top of this though, look at that shimmer. That is beautiful. We're going to flip this over and we're going to sweep it. And that's going to go over here on this side. And we're going to see what it's going to do over this color. We're taking our time and we're tapping slow. And this is a narrow brush. It's not wide like the Hourglass brush. Knowing that it was a cream to powder, I knew I wanted a dense brush and something that would give me more control. Like I didn't want to put the bristles down and it just splays out. And we're going to pull this over. This is beautiful. I heard some people had this palette. They got it in BoxyCharm. I actually bought it from BoxyCharm and they didn't know what to do with it because it looks disjointed. But oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is beautiful, I think. Oh my. I'm gonna do some blending right here. This is gorgeous. You know what though? I want to say it's giving me Pat McGrath vibes, but it's not, because Pat McGrath's, even though she has those shimmers, they're more glittery because some of them are chunky monkey. So you're not, it's not this smooth look that's right here, but yet I'm seeing the shine, I'm seeing the sparkle. And I made a decision with my Pat McGrath palettes. I have, I think, 5 motherships now, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And I'm going to try to give you different looks than you normally see with the motherships, which are what I think people consider the wearable, work appropriate looks, the soft glam looks, you know, matte everywhere and just a little shimmer on the lid. I'm gonna try and give you something different. I'm going to try to grunge out or smoke out those Pat McGrath shades and do looks with that. And because I'm thinking, what can I bring different with Pat McGrath? And that's what I think I can bring different. And that's because of my aesthetic. And that's why I got the ones that I got. And none of the rosy mauvey tones, because that's just not me. This is gorgeous. Oh wow. We have Scott Barnes number 62. We have 2 of them for transition, but I may just need one, or use one I should say. We're going to go into this shade as a transition, and we're coating both sides of the brush. And we're actually going to start inside, since that's the lighter color. And we're turning the brush as we go. This is a non-shade, the same with the other palettes. Some of the shades were non-shades, but they were good for blending. And we're starting with the inner corner because I'm going to put the other blending brush away. And the outer half of the lid is the same color, so I'm not concerned with the colors mixing. If anything, it'll just mix with the shimmer from these first 2 shades. I see a shadow up here. I'm moving around this light that's over here because I was seeing a shadow over here, but now it's like I'm seeing a shadow over my eye. So I just moved the light. Is it still a shadow? It's still there, but not, I don't know what to do. And I was telling someone, once I'm monetized, maybe then I'll buy equipment. And it might seem backwards because when people set out for this to be their side hustle or their job, they get all the fancy stuff. Well, to me, if I'm spending $1,500 for a camera, that's fancy. And for me, this is a hobby. If it turns out to be a lucrative one, you know, I'll be grateful for that. But I didn't set out to invest a lot of money into it at first. And I was going to buy a camera a while ago, and a friend of mine said, well, I remember when you restarted your channel, you said you weren't going to do that. And I said, you know what, I did say that. Thank you for reminding me. Because I will be held accountable. And that's why I say things to people. Because they will hold me accountable. Because it can be expensive. And then I hear, oh, I filmed it and my file was corrupted. I filmed it twice because the mic wasn't on. I filmed it twice. I didn't know my battery died. And I'm thinking, I don't have any of those problems on my phone. And so even though it is an investment, and yes, those videos are amazing, I'm just like, do I want to do all of that? This is not really blending out that shade. I'm dipping it again. And usually I don't use a shade to blend out a shade. And actually, I'm going to go back to Enigma. I'm waiting for Metropolis to go on sale. I did decide to go ahead and get it. Even though there are repetitive shades in the palette, those are the repetitive shades that I can use with anything. And I do think that would keep me from buying other palettes. Going back to this brush, we're going to tap in just a little bit. I shouldn't have did that if I'm going to blend this out. So we're putting this on the inside. We're tapping it again, and we're putting it here. And what was I saying? I did have Mountain Dew today. We're going to flip it over. Actually, both sides have color on it. I'm going to take a completely different brush. We're going to take this Hourglass brush. It's a number 3. We're not putting any shadow on it. We're just going along this top edge. We're going to blend out Enigma, this deep blue. The repetitive shades that are in Metropolis, I think having those will help me to just stick with my aesthetic. If I see a smoky palette, get a smoky palette. Because if I need a transition shade or an inner corner shade, I can get that from Metropolis. You know what I mean? So I think it'll help me. So you see how that just blended itself? Okay, you see that? And there was no shadow on the brush. And we're just going to feather that back and forth along that top line. It is a $129 palette, so I am waiting for a sale, and hopefully it won't disappear again like it did before it goes on sale. So I'm waiting to see. The one I have is still good. It expired, I think, August 2022, I think. Or September 2022. I could grab it real quick. It expired September 2022. And it's still good right now. If you haven't seen it, I have a video testing my expired Natasha Denona palettes. Yes, y'all, I put expired eyeshadow in my eye, and ooh, one of them was bad and one was on its way out. And there were 2 recently expired that are still good, but I know they're on their way soon. And I think it's because they're the creamy powder and cream to matte formulas, and so cream is going to turn. It's not just a traditional powder. So you see how that blended? And so you may have to put some work into it. And I think I'm having to put this work into it because I put that other powder on top. So I'm trying to like work through this shade to blend out this cream to powder. But I like it. I like it. So these will be the first 2 looks. I'm going to take, oh gosh, this is, I didn't mean to pull this one. 210 Makeup Forever brush. And how many of these do I got? I have 2. Do I have 3? Can I get a third? Can I get a third? Is there a fourth? Is there a fourth? Can I get a third? Yeah, I had Mountain Dew. All right, well, we're going to take different brushes. These are Esom V09. I don't have anything under my lower lash line. I'm going to take this shade first. And we're going to put this right here. We're going to wrap it. So we're going to bring it around here. We're going to take the clean one, and we're going to go into this one. So if you have this palette, tapping off, I hope that this gives you some inspiration. And we're going to wrap it. We're going to bring this up and just wrap it around. The Makeup Forever brushes, we have 2 of them. Actually, we only need 1. Let's put that one away. And we're going to go into this shade. And we're going to just run that along here. Going back in. I don't even know why I tapped it because it's a cream to powder, so it's nothing to tap off because it's like a cream, but it's a powder. So we're going to place it first. So let's just get it there. And so I went like that too soon. So that's why this blue traveled, the lighter blue. Whereas here, it didn't. So I'm going to go back in. I wasn't paying attention. You know what? I was reading a message that came through. So when I'm looking up here, I'm reading messages. When I'm looking here, I'm looking at myself. When I'm looking here, I'm looking where you are. If anybody cares why I look like I'm looking all over the place. Because I really am. Okay. Because unlike a non-troll, I would just look in my mirror down here versus looking at myself up here. Because I do know it is nice when you're watching videos and it looks like they're looking right at you. Like right now versus looking at my handsome, fine ass self. So anyway, I do know that, and I am aware of it, and I do try when I'm talking and not putting on makeup. I do try to make a point to look where you are, because I want you to know I see you. That would be really weird if I really, really did. You know what I mean? We're going to take the brush we used for our transition shade, and I don't think we need to do this, but we're going to do that. We're going to use our Natasha Denona Tan, Bronze, and Glow palette. Sorry for the glare. I do have on liquid foundation. I did set it with a setting spray. Well, setting powder first and then a setting spray, but I am sweating. It's 76 degrees in here, y'all. So maybe I should take this setting spray, the setting powder again. Where's the brush I used for that? Because I am seriously sweating. And I should probably just open my balcony door. So yes, I'm putting powder on top of powder, which I set with setting spray. This makes me look a little ghastly, and it's because I'm using a dense brush. I should have used a fluffy brush, and that's why I ended up spraying my face, just to kind of take some of this ghastliness away. Yeah, so I have brushes out. What am I doing? We are going to take, I did say that. This is Sephora Pro Airbrush number 56. We're going to go into the cream base, and this brush is good for that, and I'll be using these brushes for the hourglass and some of my other smaller brushes, because those pans I think may even be smaller than these, but you know, you have 6 different things in there versus this is just 4. But anyway, so we're just going to put this here. I don't know if you've seen, I think there's a slight shine, but the idea is this is a cream base. Yeah, I see it on this side. This side I don't see much, which is weird because there's a light up here, and I think that's what throws the shadow to this side, because there's a wall over here versus the light being like right in the middle, but then that might cast a weird shadow too. So this is still the cream base. What are we going to take now? Is this a cream too? I don't remember. This is Super Glow. We're going to flip the brush over. Is that powder? No, that's a cream too. Is it? I don't know what the hell. I haven't used it in so long. And we're going to, is this a powder? Yeah, that's a powder. I had to touch it to tell. I haven't used this in a while. That's a shame. So we're going to put this here. So we're actually wiggling in, not tapping off. I do like a Lift From Within glow. That's pretty. This is the kind of glow I like. And with wiggling. Wiggling in again. That could be the whole cheek situation and you can be done, because I have a natural contour. But we're not. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to take, let me close the flap. We're going to take this shade here. This is a e.l.f. buffing foundation brush. This gets dark quick. I should have used a fluffy brush. Oh Lord. Okay, let me hold the end of the brush, light pressure. Ooh, because this gets intense quick. So we're just going to put this right here. I'm glad I remembered to go light. And this side doesn't want to blend. That's why I touched it first. That's this shade right here, and it's powdery. See that puff up at dust? Oh man, so we're going to just take the puff of dust and put that right there, because it's dark. Even though that's in my natural hollow, it's still darker than this side. No, I don't want to mess up. Oh shoot. I told you it gets dark quick, right? Oof. Do I need to take another brush and... Okay, there we go. Buff that out. And on this side, is that the same? Nope. Very lightly. This is when I end up doing too much. But at least the shape is straight and not halfway down my jaw towards my chin like I do sometimes. While you're here, this is what my idea was. We're still going to come back and do these same 2 looks over either a black or a brown base. Okay, that looks nice. That looks really nice. And when I purchased this, I purchased 2 of them. So this is the other one. And my plan was, is after I did 4 or 5 looks with Jubilee, I was going to do a giveaway for this Jubilee. And so if you're here right now, just make sure you read down below what you need to do. You're welcome. You will need to be subscribed before this is uploaded. If you see this and you enter, you're not eligible, but if you stay subscribed, you will be eligible for future stuff. So just know that. And I do most of my subscriber appreciations that way because I want to appreciate those of you who are always here and not just subscribing just to win. Now we're going to take, this is a Scott Barnes travel number. It's not a number, it's a travel brush. We're going to go into this shade. This is Glow Impact Powder. So it's sort of like a highlight thing too, but we're going to bring that down here where we put that bronzer shade. Yo, this palette, and I think I got this half off on her website. If you're wanting Natasha Denona, just check out her website. Lately though, she hasn't been having what I consider good stuff on her special offers page, but she will eventually. And I think it's because the holidays are coming up and they're going to be having sales. I hope they're going to be having sales. Yo, did y'all see that new palette? Why it look like they found it under a shelf in an abandoned factory on the floor? I was just like, that is not for anybody deeper than me. That thing looked dusty and ashy, like mice been living on it. Anyway, and if you like that palette, I love it for you. I'm not going to do liner. I'm going to do liner. The mascara ain't go back. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm not, because you've been here long enough. The lip is already done. So just picture this with black liner. And when we come back, we're going to do the same 2 looks over black base just to see how much of a difference it makes. And just make sure you read below and you will see me in a few seconds. Today is November 2nd. Chapstick. Today is November 3rd. Hope I didn't scare you. I started the process. I did my brows with the L'Oreal brow pencil. For foundation, I used the NC 44.5 all over. I did not put on any concealer, you can probably tell. And I primed my eyes with the Fenty eyeshadow primer, and I used MAC's Paint Pot in Black Mirror. 2 Hourglass number 3 brushes, and we're going into this shade here. And I am going to tap off because this is not tacky, and so I am concerned with fallout. So we're going to tap this on. It'll be interesting to see how much of a difference, if any, the black base makes. I'm going to edit out the rest of this process. We're taking a clean one and we're going into this shade over here, and we are tapping off that one too. And we're going to press that here. I'm taking the tip of the brush and just blending up here. This one, because of the tone of it, doesn't really need blending. It just kind of blends into my skin tone. But going in with the same brush from yesterday. I do wash brushes after every use, and so these are clean. And this is the Sephora Cream Shadow number 25 brush. And we're going to, so rude, excuse me. And we're going to tap into here. We'll swipe actually. And we're going to put this on both this side and this side, and I'm going to edit out the rest of this process. I'm feathering inward on this side just to get a blend, and I'm holding the brush near the end so that I don't apply a lot of pressure, and I'm very lightly just feathering inward. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm going to edit the rest of this process out. Actually, I'm not, because I'm done. And so that is that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take just the tip of the brush and I'm going to lightly feather back and forth here using windshield wiper motions just to blend out this edge. That paint pot got away from me, and once it's there, it's there, because I did not intend for it to come down that far. I could clean it up with concealer, but sometimes I make more of a mess doing that because it turns into a different color. I don't know if it's because of the undertone of my concealer or not. I'm going to start yakking. But you see how this is blending, how here is really dark and then it's getting lighter. So I'm going to edit out the rest of this process on this eye, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, just lightly feathering back and forth to get a blend. I'm just doing enough for you to see it, and then I'm going to edit out. Another way you could fix this is just to use a black liner and just do like a thick black line or a thin one just to blend this in. Or if you're able to, put some micellar water on a Q-tip and straighten that line up, or makeup remover wipe, wrap it around your finger and clean that line up. But for me, I still have to wash that off with soap and water, so that doesn't work for me. And that's because of how my skin is set up to be sensitive and whatnot. But those are ways that you can clean that up. Or I could just take a dry Q-tip and wipe it off and then go back with powder, foundation or whatever and clean it up. So those are ways you can clean up messes. So we're going to take this brush, a Scott Barnes number 62, and we're going to go into this shade. So we're doing the same exact looks we did yesterday. I did tap off. I'm going to start inside again. And because it looks to me that I took my lid shades up further, this is actually going up to my brow bone. And actually this lid shade is up to my brow bone. Didn't intend to do that, but that's where it is. So we're putting this here first because this is lighter, because we're going to use the same brush to put this over here. And that's really just kind of it. I do not have anything on my lower lash line. We have two of these. I'm pretty sure we used these yesterday. These some V09. And for one eye, we're going to take this shade. Which eye? That was this one. And we're just going to put that in the center. Did we take this all the way over before? I think we did. That was just yesterday, and I don't remember. I've been sick, y'all. I ate something that didn't agree with me. So I'm experiencing mild food poisoning symptoms. The good thing is, I'll lose a few pounds. I'm going to edit out doing this on the other eye with the clean brush, even though now I'm showing you, but I'm going to edit this part out just for time's sake. We're going to take a Fenty 220 and we're going to go into this shade, and that's going to go over here and also over here. I'm going to edit out the rest of this process. Another way to clean this up is just to bring it all the way over and let this serve as our liner. So that's another thing that you can do, just to try to get it straight and not look like there's a point, even though it's really dragging my eye down, because it's so, well, it's beyond rounded now, it's just coming way down here. But that's something else that you can do too, is to connect your liner from your lower lash line and just bring that straight up. I'm going to take this same brush, I did not add anything else to it, and we're just going to sweep in between where those shades meet. Not in between where they meet, but where they meet, just to get a blend right there. And that's going to be it. We're going to put on black liner. We didn't do that yesterday, did we? No, we did not. But we're going to put on black liner. I'm going to just leave this like this because it would take a lot for me to clean it up with a Q-tip, because then I would have to go back and add powder foundation. Not really a hassle, but let's just keep it moving. I'll be right back. I'm actually using that same MAC's Paint Pot in Black Mirror. This time we're going to just use it as a liner. Let me know, and I'm always asking questions, if you use MAC paint pots. I know a lot of people do use them for bases, and then they'll use the black or brown fluid line as a liner. But if you have the black or brown, is there a brown paint pot? I don't think there's a dark brown paint pot. If you have the black paint pot, do you use it as a base and as a liner? So that's how that looks. I'm going to edit out doing the other eye. I'm going to do somewhat of a wing, but not really. I'm just going to follow the top line of the color on our lower lash line that we brung up. So I'm just bringing the black just above that line. And that's all we're going to do there. So not really a wing, but I guess so. Just to make it look like all of this was intentional. That's all we're doing. This is the Scott Barnes Pumped Up Mascara. This will go on top and bottom lashes on both eyes. We're going to wipe off some chapstick. We're going to take Urban Decay Perversion 24/7 Glide On Eyeliner. And we're going to use this as a lip liner. I purchased a few of these in different colors. when their website had their 30% off sale. And I purchased them to use them as lip liners. As eyeliners, they irritate my eyes. I'm going to edit out the rest of this process. I'm also going to fill my lips in. I'm going to go back into this palette. This is a Fenty number 230 brush, and we're going to take this shade here, and we're going to swipe it. We're going to coat both sides of the brush, and we're going to tap this on. I'm going to edit the rest of this process out. We're going to take the Fenty Clear Gloss. I don't know what it's called. It is called Glass Slipper. Should I use this? I don't have one out, so I'm going to have to make sure I clean this. Let me try to get enough. Oh, okay. Oh. Wow. I'm going to say it. This is a bomb-ass lip. And that much did not come off, which is good, but I'm still going to clean it before I put it back in. This is a bomb-ass lip color. I don't think I have this lip color, but now I do. I know what to do. Put on a black lip. Take a shade similar to this one. Put it on. Top it with a clear gloss. So this is our looks for today. This is this one over a black base. This is this one over a black base. I'm curious to see how similar they look to the looks we did yesterday. I think the lip is too matchy-matchy. I probably should have used this shade, which is this one here. But anyway, I'm loving this look. And make sure you read down below. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you for watching, and you will see me in the next video.